My sellers were so angry when they found out that they needed to replace their roof before they could sell their home. And why is the roof age the number one question my buyers ask me about when they're viewing homes? Welcome to the Orlando Real Estate Lifestyle Podcast, where we explore the intersection of Orlando real estate and your best life. I'm Phil Kruse, here to make the most out of your journey in the city beautiful. God, I flubbed my intro right out of the gate. Today, I'll be interviewing a roofing specialist, an insurance specialist with APC Roofing. His name is Scott Ade. Scott, welcome to the Orlando Real Estate Lifestyle, and thanks for being here.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Phil.
See, I screwed up the intro just so I can remove the pressure from you, okay?
There you go. I like it.
Guys, I brought Scott on today because obviously roofing is such a major talking point for any homeowner, buyer, seller, and certainly with hurricane season on us and the goofiness with insurance, it's top of mind for really anybody probably over the age of 21. The topics that Scott and I are going to be discussing for you out there listening is obviously roofing and the insurance situation, roofing as it pertains to real estate transactions, the best types of roofs that you can purchase and why, how solar panels are affecting the roofing industry, new roof tech. I'm excited for Scott to share some of this new roofing technology. And then, of course, hurricanes and storm damage, and even some positive and maybe even a negative story we can pull out of Scott based on his experience working in the roofing industry. Before I get started and before I start asking Scott questions, I just want to remind you, the listener out there, that I am a real estate agent, and one of my main lead sources are listeners like you. So when it's your time to make a major real estate decision, think of me, Phil Kruse. That's Kruse with a K, Kruse. Or if you're having a beer with a buddy or a glass of wine with a family member and they're talking about their real estate dreams, let them know that you got a guy in Orlando that's going to take care of them. A portion of all my real estate commissions go to charity. I mentor at the New Image Youth Center in downtown Orlando, or so you can donate. My commissions will be donated to them. Or if you have a charity that you're passionate about, I'd be happy to donate a portion of my commission to that charity. Don't forget about my social media, especially on Instagram @_ Phil Kruse. That's Kruse with a K, again, Kruse. Or you could just pop my name into Google, put real estate, put Orlando at the end. I'm going to hit right at the top. You'll find me. Okay, let's bring in Scott. Scott, you're actually not in Orlando right now. You're out west helping people deal with a major catastrophe in a roofing situation. So I wanted to lead with a story that you have about either what you're doing now or a situation in which you've really come in and helped a homeowner with a major problem associated with their roof.
Yeah, well, again, like I said before, Phil, thanks for having me. I really appreciate being able to come on here and talk to get an audience that can understand the game, because there's a lot of misconceptions to it that hopefully we can clear up for some of your people today.
Great.
I've been in Colorado now for the last 2 months. They had a major hailstorm, which pretty much dropped about 3-inch hail. So if you think about that, that's almost the size of a baseball.
Wow.
And if you got shingle roof, even metal roofs, I mean, it's going to do some damage. Shingles are usually, it can withstand 2-inch hail, but when it gets to 3, there's nothing that can withstand it. There's nothing that you can actually manufacture to get around it. I think the biggest thing for me, Phil, and wherever I'm at, is just the need to be genuine and authentic with people, right? Knowing that they don't really know what's going on. This might be their first hailstorm. I've got a couple of clients right now who have never been through something like this. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle their insurance. They don't know what a scope of work looks like. They don't know what a contractor to trust, which is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really this just coming down here with the mindset of helping people. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that I enjoy doing. By helping people, obviously, just like anything else, profits come after that. But the genuine knowing that you're able to come down here and educate somebody and have them really go, Wow, I'm so glad you came by. I would have never known what to do. I'm not sure exactly what I'm supposed to do. So really just helping people in that is probably the most successful story that I have. And just being able to let people understand. I mean, I've got one client down here that I approached the door to talk to her. She was very much apprehensive about talking to me, which a lot of people are. But when you have a genuine kind of persona to you that you're actually willing to help, um, and I'll tell you a really quick story. I think it's a great story that you can
Please.
hear. That'll give you a little bit of both perspectives of how it works. She was hesitant. She decided, hey, let's do it. Let's see what happens. The insurance adjuster come out. I'm a big believer that when the insurance adjuster comes out to the property, that I'm there as well. And what we're doing is looking at damage collectively and figuring out, hey, what's damaged, what's not, and how our homeowner can get taken care of because of that. Adjusters forget things. I get it. We forget some things sometimes, but having two eyes on it to look at it really helps a lot. And the adjuster got that there. He said he had came in from Texas the night before. Obviously, the catastrophe team comes in. When the cat team comes in, you know you got some big issues going on.
Yeah,
He got on the roof, and we looked at everything else that was damaged, and it was pretty obvious. He got on the roof, and his first thing was, I'm not really sure I like what I'm seeing. I said, yeah, and jokingly, yeah, it's quite a bit. I get it. But remember, at this point, I've been down here for 3 weeks. So I've been on probably 25 roofs. I know what they all look like.
Mhm.
And he really just was like, I don't understand what this is. Why do you think this is hail? And I was absolutely taken back. Like, what? I mean,
Yeah.
it's obvious what this is, right? And we went back and forth and back and forth. And I finally just told him, I said, I think probably the best thing to do is have you get off the roof, get in your car, drive down to the next 2 or 3 adjustments, and tell me what you see collectively, and then we'll talk again after that. He called me the next day and he apologized, which is a lot for an adjuster to do.
Wow.
He goes, man, I'm so sorry. You're 100% correct. It is so bad down here. I just didn't really believe that it was this bad. And so again, my homeowner's like, I'm glad that you were here. I'm glad that you helped me. I'm glad you talked me into making sure that you have a good contractor that looks after you, because otherwise it's very possible that she would have got a denial letter from it. And once you get a denial letter, it's not hard, kind of difficult to get a contractor to help you with that. But for the homeowner, they just assume, oh, great, there's no damage on my roof. And then 6 months later, they get leaks and somebody comes out and says, buddy, your roof is damaged.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest success story that I've been down here for sure.
Great. Well, Scott, I appreciate you sharing that, and the way you do business really, and the way kind of you allow it to come through you really resonates with me relative to how I do business. In real estate, you can view people as transactions, especially when you get into high level real estate, or you can view people as people and understand that, yeah, we're all, we're making money, but at the end of the day, we're helping people with a major life decision.
Absolutely.
You're helping someone sell their house. You're helping someone sell their parents' house. You're helping someone buy their dream home, their first home. They're about to have a kid. They're going through a divorce. They have a positive or negative job situation. And I keep that in front and center of my mind every day, even if I'm going through a stressful file or a stressful situation. I'm like, I'm here to help. This is what I'm doing. So I respect the hell out of that. And thanks again for sharing. I have my own personal story about hail damage. It's kind of on the other side of the fence, where the insurance adjuster, I can understand why he was skeptical. I had a friend of mine who used to run, well, I'm not going to get into details. Bottom line, it was a new roofing company. We discussed a different opportunity, and he mentioned, hey, I have a roofing company. There was a hailstorm that came through your area, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. And he said, we're going and assessing properties for hail damage retroactively to make an insurance claim, and we'll do everything. We'll file the claim for you, and you can get a free roof, is how it was framed to me, through your insurance company. He sent somebody out. They went on the roof and they drew little circles around these little pinpoint holes or something, dots, if you will. For me, who's intimately tied to real estate and deals with insurance companies relative to my own private properties, but also helping home buyers usually are the ones, or home sellers deal, but usually home buyers get insurance policies. To me, it kind of felt icky. It felt like there was some sort of fraud going on. The insurance industry in the state of Florida is broken. We all know that, with companies leaving. There's legislation that's being handed down, hopefully sooner than later, to try and fix that. So you've touched on it, but I want to get your opinion on the state of the insurance company, the insurance industry in the state of Florida, and how it pertains to roofing.
Well, I mean, Phil, again, just like everything else in whatever industry that you're in, and I'm sure in real estate, you probably have some of the same things. You have bad apples in every basket. It's not uncommon for me to hear those type of stories, especially from some clients and stuff like that. But again, at the end of the day, if I go up on a roof and I look for damage and I don't see any damage, I get down, we shake hands and part ways, or go have a drink or something. But at the end of the day, I'm not up there to manufacture damage. That's just not good practice at all. I'm up there to see whatever damage is up there. If there's a legitimate claim that can be put in through the insurance company, again, a lot of people aren't educated. They don't know what hail looks like on a roof.
Right.
I look at it every day. So I'm very familiar with what it looks like and with what maybe it doesn't look like. So you really got to have a contractor that's just willing to go up there, show you pictures, documentation of what hail looks like. And so that's pretty much on the front of that. That's pretty cut and dry. Either there's damage or there's not. I don't need anything else after that. So that's a big thing that, again, really, when you look at a contractor, you're going to need to make sure that you vet them very well. Reviews online, let's see what kind of work they've had, ask for references. I got tons of references I give people if they need it. As far as the insurance game, specifically in Florida right now, listen, sorry, ABC Insurance, you made $14 billion this year in insurance premiums from all the people in Florida, and you lost $1 million, and you're going to leave because you're losing money. I'm sorry. It really sounds very ridiculous to me, because that's not how it works. Insurance premiums are probably at the highest they've ever been, probably anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000 to $8,000 a year. The big misconception is, well, Phil, if I put a claim in on my roof, the insurance company said my rates are going to go up. No, completely not right. Your rates go up because you live in Florida. Your rates go up because you live in Texas, and you're prone to weather that damages your house. That's it. So that's a big misconception, I think, also that out there for a lot of people. I've had people call me telling me the adjuster told me to close, that I had no damage. This is from the insurance adjuster that they sent out to look at the roof that had damage. And it was from another roofing company. So obviously I wasn't present. Otherwise, this would have never happened. I would have had a very big problem with it. And he said, you don't have any damage up there. And what I suggest is you call them back and tell them that if you don't drop the claim, that they're going to raise your insurance rates and probably drop you. Listen, insurance companies, Phil, drop people for any reason. If your house is green, they can drop you. Has no bearing whatsoever on claims, nothing. The problem is you're told by the insurance company that this is the case. And then everybody else around you, after a catastrophe, gets a brand new roof but you, and you wonder why. And then it's too late. So then what's happened is now your time frame of filing a claim, specifically for hail, would be a year, has passed. And when you go back and say, well, I don't understand how everybody else got roofs, you think they all just came out of pocket, all cash? No, insurance claims. And they go, well, I was told if I did it, they'd raise my insurance rates. Not true. Well, so it's really important to to be educated and to just really have some talking points with a contractor when you call them about, hey, can you explain to me how this works? I mean, I'm really big in being very transparent of how the process works because I've done it so much. Sure. And so for me, it's really important that people understand some of the misconceptions that they hear out there. If I get a dark shingle on my roof, the sun's going to hit it and it's going to be hotter. No, that's not correct. Shingles have 10% security and all 90% looks. It's the ventilation in your roof and how the soffit and everything works that bringing the air into the soffit, pushing the hot air out of your attic into those vents. That is the key. It has nothing to do with color. So I really like to, first of all, educate people. And first thing I ask is, what questions have you heard that you'd like me to answer?
Nice. Okay. Well, I think you've done a good job of showing that there's two sides to every story, right? So the insurance companies that in many cases are billion-dollar corporations that you've alluded to are crying and pointing to the roofing contractors that in most cases are significantly smaller, saying that they're committing fraud.
Right.
Okay, well, we had some technical difficulties. My internet dropped, and me and Scott had to pick up this conversation on another day. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see me in a different shirt. But other than that, we're going to move right along. Scott, obviously, I'm a real estate agent. Anytime I show a buyer a house, there's a new roof, or it says in the description online of the property, oh, roof was replaced last year, or roof is brand new. My buyers get so excited because it's one less thing that they have to worry about or factor into the pricing or factor into the negotiation or deal with after the home inspection. So I want to talk to you about roofing as it pertains to real estate. Typically, I've been trained by other like insurance agents and just from industry experience that the rule of thumb is if a roof is over 10 years old and you're looking to buy a house, there's a good chance that when you buy the house that has a roof that's over 10 years old, that you're going to have trouble getting insurance, or you may not be able to get insurance at all. Is that really a true rule of thumb?
That's a very true rule of thumb. What the insurance companies have kind of put out there, and it's a little bit crazy, but it happens. I deal with real estate companies all the time. Realtors calling me saying, "Hey, can you come out and take a look at the roof?" We were wanting to sell it. In fact. But everybody's so concerned about the roof, and it's a big concern, and it should be, because insurance companies basically right now are looking anywhere from 10 to 15 years old as far as a roof is. They're going to be looking for you to replace it, and all you're going to need to wait for is a letter from them stating, hey, your roof's 12 years old, it's past its age, you have 6 months to replace your roof. And that would be out of your pocket, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's fine with me, because then people call me and say, hey, I need somebody to come out and give me an estimate. I said, oh, it sounds like you must have got a letter. Yep. Perfect. Well, then I go out and find out that nobody's looked at their roof, including their insurance agent, in quite some time. And they had damage from a storm that they didn't even know. 80-year-old lady's not going to get on a roof, Phil. And look and see if she's got damage. So then I go out there, and then of course we, determine what the best course of action is. But right now, that's what's happening is letters are being sent out, and right now it's 10 to 15 years. Phil, it seems like every year it gets less and less. So I'm thinking within the next year, we're probably looking anywhere from 8 to 10 years, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out how do we beat the storms that come up where we don't have to replace it. The thing is with an older roof, it shows more damage when you have a storm event, whether it's hurricane or whatever it is. So they're just trying to do what they can to figure out, if you may, what that sweet spot is, so to speak. And then what happens is, which is not great either. You think, well, I'm not going to do that. I'll just go to another insurance company. Well, guess what? They're all pretty much teaming up on the same thing. So that is the rule of thumb, Phil. You're exactly right. And there's one of two things to handle it. Either replace the roof, which is what I would require you to do, so that you can hold maybe more money at the closing table when it comes down to it, right, or negotiate it at the closing table. So those are two solutions to that problem. But that is very much a true statement, and that's kind of what's going on right now.
Right. So just to make that clear, the obvious one that doesn't need to be clarified the way you said it is, you as a homeowner looking to sell your house, if your roof is over 10 years old, just get it replaced, swallow that pill, and spend the money, because to your point, you're going to get it back when you sell the house. As I introduced the topic, you can market that home as a new roof home, and everything else being equal, people are going to want to buy that house over your competitor. Or let's say you don't have the cash, which I would understand. You can, that when you price the home appropriately. So if it's a $500,000 home, maybe you price it at 475. And you tell them when we're negotiating price, like, hey, we're not budging on the price. We're not coming down. We know this house is really worth 500 with a new roof. We lowered the price to make sure, because we understand it doesn't have a new roof or some version of that. You price it at 500,000. They come in and say, hey, we know this roof is over 10 years old. And then you negotiate the price from there, and everyone understands the roofing situation. What I don't understand, Scott, and what frustrates the hell out of me, and maybe you can shed some light on this. Let's say we just do a basic shingle roof. All right. To the best of my knowledge, most shingles or maybe upgraded shingles come with a 20-year warranty. And when you go to buy the roof, and a roofer or somebody might say, oh yeah, these shingles have 20-year warranty. That doesn't mean crap, because in 10 years, you're going to have to replace it anyway, right?
That's correct. You're 100% correct. Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense there, Phil. When I talk to people about shingle warranty, that's another thing. They're like, well, what does it matter? In 10 to 12, 15 years, I'm going to have to put a new roof on because the insurance company is going to tell me I'm going to regardless because of age. You're 100% correct. Now, our company, we actually give with our work, we give a 10-year workmanship warranty. That's on labor. Anything that happens that we might have caused or something didn't get installed correctly, we cover that as a company. So that's just something that we like to back up with. But a lot of times I work with with agents like yourself, and that's the first thing they ask, because let's be honest, the most expensive thing in your house is a roof. If the roof doesn't get done, everything else isn't covered. So insurance companies know that, and that's what it is. So yeah, you're not going to be able to hop, skip, and jump insurance companies if your roof's old. You're going to have to figure out how to get it replaced. Now, Phil, if you're getting ready to sell the house, I wouldn't exactly put top of the line #1 main shingles on it, right? I'm going to put a good quality that at least it's going to be affordable. So if you do have to go to the table and negotiate and use that as leverage negotiation at the table, then you can do that and still understand that you're not going to be that far out of the ball game. And I think that would work.
I think that's a great strategy, and it's going to lead me into my next question. I'm just going to make a statement, like, in my mind, because you're saying exactly what I've already thought I knew to be correct. You're up to date, obviously, on everything. And I would never put an expensive roof. I would go with the cheapest possible thing, because I know it's a ticking time bomb in 10 years for my bank account. So that leads me to my next question, which is, does that same rule of thumb apply to tile roofs and metal roofs?
Absolutely.
So then why would anyone spend an extra double or triple the amount for a tile or metal roof if they're going to have to replace that in 10 years?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. In fact, I just had one last week, the tile roof. And let me tell you, tile's not cheap. All right. This house is probably 5,000 square feet. That tile roof's about $85,000 to replace. Right. So it's a lot of money. And not only that, but the thing with some things like tile, takes a long time to get. A lot of your HOAs won't let you put anything else on it. That's another big thing. So even if you do want to put a roof on there and the insurance company says, hey, here's what's going on, it's old. Yes, it's kind of like, hey, you're along the water, it's old. We've done our formula, and we know that it's just a matter of 1.5 years that there's going to be a major catastrophe that's going to take out that roof, and we're going to have to pay for it. So again, it's a formula. They're trying to figure it out. Metal, I'm a big fan, huge fan of metal. It's becoming more and more affordable. And it's really becoming a better option for a lot of people other than shingles. Again, it's still a little bit more pricey, but really, to be honest with you, if somebody asked me, hey, would I put, depending upon the situation, would I put, metal on a roof or would I put shingle on a roof? If you're going to keep the house, man, put metal on it. Yes, if you get a hailstorm, you may get some hits on that metal roof that is actually recoverable with the insurance company as damage, but it's not going to do anything like a shingle roof does. That's for sure.
So then what's the main reason you say that you would prefer a metal roof? Is it it's more resilient, aesthetics, which?
I think it's a little both. The big look right now, and I got a friend that just had his roof done recently that we did. The big look now is shingle roof, and then your awnings, your patio deck is metal. It's a big look. It's an aesthetic thing that's going on right now. Very much like the White House with the black trim. Matter of fact, I'm doing one here in Colorado where they had a awning in the back area and a small one in the front, and they had like a fiberglass corrugated stuff there, which just because it was an older house. And we talked about it, and I said, I think we should put some exposed metal fastener on the front and the back, and let's do it in black since we're going to do the roof in black and charcoal gray. And she was ecstatic. She's like, wait, what? That would be awesome. So I love it that I get to help upgrade some people too to some of that stuff. But aesthetically, metal's great. I think resilience, metal's great. So for me, that's why I'm a big metal fan.
How much more expensive percentage wise is the metal roof versus a shingle roof? Is it as simple as saying it's 10 or 20% more expensive? Can we just
I'd say about 25%. About 25%
okay.
more. Again, those numbers are coming down because it's becoming more and more prevalent. And insurance companies like it as well because it doesn't damage as much as shingles do. So again, the insurance companies are trying to get behind some of those products as well, just so that they're able to save some money, which I don't blame them. I would too.
Right. Okay. Well, that's super interesting. And I know there's some other cutting edge roof materials out there that you're really excited about. And we're going to talk about that shortly, as well as how solar panels fit into the mix with roofs, because they obviously attach to the roof and are only going to become more and more common as we move forward with climate change and so forth. So, but before we get into that, Scott, I want to tell the listener out there, if you're enjoying this information and educating yourself about roofing, know that I have so much more to offer on my podcast. This is my 40th episode. Go on your podcast platform, Spotify, Apple, what have you, like and subscribe. Or if you're watching on YouTube, do the same thing. I drop new episodes every Monday. It's all about Orlando. It's all about real estate, and it's all about lifestyle, stuff that's going on in Orlando. I interview business leaders. It's a very diverse podcast that you're going to be educated on, especially if you're interested in Central Florida or if you already live here. And don't forget about my real estate services. I am a listing specialist. I can get your home sold fast and at the highest price utilizing the auction effect. I have tons of resources like Scott. If you need a new roof or some other repairs that you need to do before you sell, I can help you understand what makes the most sense to do or not to do, like we touched on with the roof. Find me on social media @_ Phil Kruse. That's Kruse with a K, or just Google me, Phil Kruse, Kruse. Throw Orlando, throw real estate in there. You're going to find me. And don't forget, I donate a portion of all of my commissions to charity. Now, Scott, before we get into the new tack and the solars, you shared a really uplifting story at the beginning of this podcast about how at the end of the day, you're helping people. And that's the way, you can, enjoy making money, right, in your industry. I want to go the opposite side. I want you to tell me a horror story, a roofing horror story. What's your worst story? Lay it on us.
Well, about talking about the same line of just helping people. I've got a client that I recently dealt with who was on hospice. And so, she had somebody call about her roof and what was going on. So when I came in to talk to her, I mean, she's bedridden. She's not able to get out of her bed. Most importantly, she's a veteran, so of course it's right up my alley. I wanted to make sure I could help her in any way I could, and so I did an inspection on the roof, did what we need to do. She had damage up there, obviously, Phil. She's not going to be able to get up on that roof, so we did an inspection on the roof, and ended up turning it over to the insurance company, and the insurance company. I like to show up when it's insurance. I like to show up with my adjusters at the insurance meetings because that way both of us can go over the damage that we both see and go, hey, do we agree that this is damage? If so, then when that report comes in, there's no surprises for either one of us. And so he came in and did the inspection and was really a great guy, which is good. A lot of my adjusters that I see are the same guys that I see that I've dealt with before, and most of them are really good guys. So we try to help each other because there's no reason to be angry with each other because it doesn't get anybody anywhere. So long story short, he had said, hey, I think this is a great idea. I think this has got plenty of damage. Let's go ahead and help her. And then when it got into, I guess, maybe the phase of the higher ups in insurance, it came back that it was denied. That's Denials don't mean that it's over. Denials are just,
Right.
as you know, it's just part of the process.
Fight. Yeah.
So, of course, I'm doing everything I can to figure out how do I help this, this lady. Obviously, her whole thing to me was, I just want to be able to, I don't have much time left, so I just need to make sure that my kids and grandkids have somewhere to live, that it's safe and all that stuff. And so that was right up my alley again, as far as helping people. And so it came back. I can tell you right now, the reason I say it's a horror story is because we're still in the middle of it. Unfortunately, I had to send it over to another level, if you may, in order for them to get it done. Do I think it's going to get done? Yeah, I do eventually. Do I hope it's going to get done?
Are lawyers involved?
What's that?
Are lawyers involved?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've turned it over to the attorneys and said, you guys go at it, deal with it, see what we can do. 9 out of 10 times when it's legitimate, the lawyers will settle with insurance companies. If it's legitimate again. Sometimes I scratch my head wondering why don't you just do the right thing? Instead pay 20% more when it goes to an attorney. It costs you more money to do that. But hey, that's a whole different pay grade, that's for sure. So that, to me, that's a horror story only because, myself and the inspector were on the same page. We're like, yeah, this roof needs to be replaced. Again, I don't know sometimes what happens on the insurance side. I don't really am privy to a lot of that, but this is one that I really have stuck with, and I'm going to continue to stick with it to see that it gets done. So,
sure.
Yeah,
sure. I appreciate that. And that to me shows the listener out there, the importance of having a roofer that has the experience, the roofing company that has the experience of dealing with insurance companies, so that if you do run into a hurdle like this, you have a clear path to success, right? You guys have your own attorneys. You're a big enough company where you can manage that, and you're confident in the situations that it's going to happen, and you can advise your clients appropriately.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Absolutely. It does take some time, Phil. It's not a sprint. It's definitely a marathon. Because just like is in real estate, they try to get you to wait out as long as you can. Hopefully, you just give up and say, okay, I'll pay for it myself. But I try to let my customers know, listen, it's not something that gets done overnight. But again, if there's legitimate damage to it, and it's been documented through pictures and documents, then it's just a matter of time.
Sure. Good. Yeah. And I'm happy to hear that. I'm confident that you guys are going to come out on top. Yep. I want to go ahead and pivot now to the solar panel discussion. If I'm a homeowner and I want to buy solar panels and have them installed onto my roof, is that a mistake? Am I going to be screwing my warranty? Am I going to have to replace my roof faster? How do solar panels tie into the whole roofing situation?
Well, first of all, I think solar is a great option for a lot of people. Do I think it's a great option for everyone? No. And I sell solar, but I'm very honest with people when I ask them how much they want to get solar put on their roof. How much is, their electric bill? Well, it's $110 a month. It's not for you. Yeah. Right. It's just not enough. Now, if I'm out in Celebration or some areas that I've done out there where they're paying $700-800 in electric bills, now we're talking a whole different ballgame. Now it makes sense for them. And recently I did that just recently. And the biggest thing that I would say, and this is exactly what I did over in Celebration, is what's the age of your roof? If your roof's 8 to 10 years old, you need to put a new roof on before you put solar panels on. Why? Okay. Because you're going to have to take those solar panels, what we call in the business detach and reset. You're going to have to take those solar panels off, put the roof on, and then put those solar panels back on. That's usually to the tune of anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 to have that done. So save yourself $4,000 to $6,000.
The removal and reinstallation
altogether
is high as $6,000. And
yeah, altogether,
roof, obviously. Okay.
So I see all these homes that have solar on it that I can tell the roofs are aged, and I'm like, you just cost yourself $4,000 to $6,000 that you're going to have to do in order to detach and reset. Now, if it's an insurance claim and you have hurricane damage or whatever going on, a lot of times they'll compensate you for that cost. So that's the good thing. But sometimes it's not. I mean, what I hate to see is people put solar panels on there and then get a letter 2 years later saying you got to replace your roof. That's what I don't, that's what I tried to avoid doing. But in this particular situation, we went ahead and put a new roof on it. Then we actually put brand new solar panels on it. And I think that's the exact way you want to do it. in order to save money. But yeah, if you got solar panels on your roof and your roof needs to be replaced, it's got to come off, and they don't do it for free.
Right. And I think another good strategy would be too, if you have an older roof and you're deciding that you're pretty much say, I'm getting solar panels, but you know it's going to take $4 to $6 grand to take them off and on. If you had a new roof, you could just wait until you get that letter and then say, all right, we're going to wait another few years because we know we're going to get that letter. And then you look at how much your energy bills is and you can do the math and you can say, oh, I can wait another year or two and then replace the roof and have the solar panels installed at the same time. So that's another potential strategy.
Absolutely. There's some options. Absolutely. But it all comes down to when you're going to get that letter of, hey, you got 6 months to replace the roof.
And so do you guys, you said you did a job like that recently. You guys, I don't believe, sell solar systems. How does a typical roofing contractor and a solar panel company work together in those scenarios?
Well, we actually are a solar installation company as well, so we're able to do it both. But what I usually say to people is, as far as businesses that want to get into solar, you just got to partner with a good roofing contractor so that you guys can really come together and meet, just like we spoke about just now. But it's, again, solar is a great option for a lot of people. But I would make sure that you do your homework, make sure that you're educated. I just had a call last night over some solar panels installation, and there's some really important things you need to look at. Insurance, all right, depending upon how big that system is, may kick you into what they call a tier 2 insurance, which means it's $1 million coverage. So you're talking $1,200 to $1,600 more a year in insurance, because you're probably going to have to get a PIP for it. And then some insurance companies, they don't even insure solar. So, and some of them don't insure certain types of solar panels. So to me, man, that's really important up front to know and to prep your homeowner. Say, listen, if I build a system, Phil, that works for the homeowner, I don't build it because I want to do it at tier 1 and I don't want to have to pay more money in insurance. No, man. I want to build a system that works for you. If you're hitting an average of 17 kilowatts a month or whatever, I want to build it to 20 to 22. I want room there just in case you need, just in case you buy a Tesla, you got to put a charger in. I want to make sure that you have enough room in there to be able to still take advantage of that energy savings. So I build it that way, but that's huge. Insurance is really big when it comes to that.
Cool. And just so the listener knows, if you want more information about solar panels in Central Florida, I interviewed the owner and CEO of Sunlight Solar, Monique Anselmo, or actually Monique Alves. She's my sister-in-law, so I know her by her maiden name. So check out my podcast platform and search for solar on my podcast, and you'll find out more. And so let's move on to tech now. Are there any new technologies coming to the roofing industry that you can share with the listener?
Yeah, one of the big things that we just did a Orlando Home Show just recently, and kind of put some of the newest things that are coming out. Obviously, there's solar shingles that are making a push right now. I'm not 100% exactly know. I haven't educated myself enough to know whether that's going to be a good or viable option. On the surface, it sounds like it's going to be, but we'll see. I always let things play out before I make those decisions. But I think the biggest thing for me is a product called Decra. And what it is, it looks just like tile on the roof, but it's got the outer shell of shingle particles, if you may, and it's a metal product. So when you put it on, it's literally clips together, and of course they screw them into each other. So the installation is really easy as well. And I'll be honest with you, we just did a beach house a couple weeks ago, or a lake house with where the boat's at, like with a boat ramp. And man, if we showed everybody what it looks like, they're like, man, that's beautiful tile. Well, that's Decra. And it's a little bit more, it's a little pricey, but it's getting down right now. And HOAs are starting to buy onto that. And right now, that's the big push for HOA. The biggest thing that I have to say, Phil, on that product is we can get that within 4 to 6 weeks. Tile, Sometimes it takes a year just to get tile, and then 4 months just to install it. So
Wow.
the Decora product is trying to make a push in to help us with some time frames. And so I think the Decora product is something you definitely want to look at. And I think the long lasting effects of it and warranty on it's really, really good. So, and insurance companies love those products because, they're less accessible to damage from weather.
Right.
So that's another big thing. It's a win-win for everyone.
It sounds like to me, or at least in the short term, Decora is more applicable to somebody who has a tile roof.
Yep.
Because the costs may be a little bit out of line if you're thinking about switching from shingle to Decora. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's pretty neat. Like a metal roof meets a shingle, meets a tile. And if you guys didn't pick up on it, Scott mentioned, the solar shingles. Many years ago, Tesla came out with a product which was individual shingles that are actual individual solar panels that kind of clip together for a whole roof. As Scott mentioned, that still hasn't caught on quite yet in the mainstream. So be aware of that. Scott, thank you for being on my show. Thank you for enduring my technical difficulties and making yourself available a second day. I know you're super busy. You're generally here in Florida, but hey, man, you got to follow the money and follow the people that need help out there.
That's the biggest thing. Yeah.
In Colorado. So my hats are off to you taking the time to disrupt your life to be out there. And just to recap, we talked about, the insurance game and the roofing game and how it can be very complicated. Your insight on that was great. Understanding the 10-year rule of thumb and the aesthetics associated with the different roof types is huge. And, understanding how solar and new technology fit into the mix. I really appreciate you, Scott, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Phil. I appreciate it. And I'll see you on the golf course when I get back. That's
right. And let me just quickly remind the listeners about my real estate services. If you're looking to buy new construction, if you're looking to buy a lake house, that's the kind of stuff I do. And of course, I'm a listing specialist. A portion of all my commissions go to charity. Hop on Spotify, Apple, what have you, like and subscribe to my podcast. Copy the link and share it with a friend. A lot of people don't know they could do that. If you text it to them or put it on your social media, that would help me a ton. And just Google me, Phil Kruse with a K, Kruse. You're going to find me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm there. I'm here. I provide all kinds of free information to help you, not just about real estate, but about Orlando and some free life coaching too, if you're really paying attention.
Love
it. So always know out there that your best life in Orlando is within reach. Keep embracing every moment. Thanks again, Scott. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Phil.
You got it.